Yes, Sheyi Oyekon.
Yes, you are
This
correct.
name sounds familiar, but then, okay. All right, I'm listening.
Okay, so I think what we did yesterday was talking about the dashboard, talking about cost implication, resources, what we need to do to try to reduce cost. You mentioned
Sorry,
that
Jare.
you mentioned that one of the things that at any point you want to have any interview or something, what an organization is going to talk about is how you can reduce their costs and what you need to do. And provided for you in an Azure environment, Azure dashboard, you're able to see what takes more of your resources. For example, you talk about one of the resources that was taking much of your income, your subscription yesterday, which is more like the disk space, and managing resources, managing restriction from the subscription level down to the management group. I'm not sure if I'm correct. Then we talk about different operating systems. We talk about the CentOS, Ubuntu, Windows Server. Talk about installing the IIS rule for the Windows Server. Talked about trying to locate a particular file, copy file from the Ubuntu environment, from one directory to another using the assist me with that. And then for the CentOS, we have to use Yum. So I don't know if I'm correct. That's just a basic summary of what we did yesterday.
Yeah, to also add more, I think we talked about the activity log, and we also discussed about the Active Directory, how you create users, giving access to users, and we also discussed about what is it called, different resources, how you can have different resources, like giving users permissions on different resources. I think is it Shay that just finished speaking now? Yeah, also mentioned that as well. And yeah, I think that's just all for now. We talked about the CentOS, talked about the Ubuntu, creating directory, moving of directories and text. Generally, we talked about some of the virtual machine also, and I think the networking. You did take a glance at the networking aspects in brief. I think for those that are also joining for the first time as well, and I think basically those are some of the things we did yesterday.
All right. So what about Ghost Power? Where's Ghost Power? Ghost Power, don't
I'm
run.
here. I'm here. Good evening, everyone.
All right, Ghost Power, please shoot.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So a lot of people have spoken as regards what we discussed yesterday. But what I want to point out is one thing you said about one thing you talked about yesterday was minimizing costs when using the Azure environment. So you have to find a way to reduce costs, which means that you have to look at those things that are taking so much of your money, and then find a way to cut them off. Those things that you're not using, you can cut them off so that it doesn't the cloud does the Microsoft doesn't charge you so much. Then we looked at running commands on the Linux operating system, the Windows Server, and then we also looked at different versions of Linux. That's the CentOS and the rest of them. Then we looked at the logs where we take record of everything that you're doing on the Azure environment. It keeps track of your activities there. Then we also looked at tags, and we also looked at the advisor, which brings out which suggest things and suggest things for you to do that would improve or make your the cloud environment better or easier for you. Then we looked at
Tommy?
Okay, yeah. So so let me just stop here. Thank you.
All right, go and open the door. Okay. All right, so thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate that one or two people can come. Alim, where are you? Yeah, say something.
I'm here.
Yeah, say something.
security, how security is a major part of our own business, and little from the Microsoft and Amazon or service provider part. Now, most times you can check the activity log, who make changes to your Azure, and the different roles that you can administer on the Azure platform based on your subscriptions, and what you want people to edit. You can give them roles on who you want to edit and who you want to just read on the platform, who can make changes on your Azure platform. And also we saw some commands on Ubuntu yesterday, like the sudo command. So I was going to ask, the commands on Ubuntu, how do we get familiar with that? Because I was seeing sudo something yesterday, and I think I've seen more of cd something on Ubuntu. How do we get these commands? Because I know with Windows it's very easy to get all these commands online and you know what to do. So let's say in a situation whereby probably we're creating a VM and we want to use the Ubuntu shell to connect to the VM and operate the VM from the shell. How do we know the commands to use? Where do we get that information?
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Okay, I'll start from that, then I'll go into Omotalani's question, right? So one of the things, sorry if I'm a bit distracted. I told you I'm still at work. I'm still working, and I have a lot of alerts I need to deal with. Thank God it's not production alert yet. So don't mind me if I keep distracting myself. All right. So number one is probably I have not said anything that. All right, so I've not said anything with regards to it. So I remember there was this session that we had where I was trying to enter into a Linux machine while I use SSH, right? That was one of the things that I was telling you guys, that I might not be able to teach you everything, right? But there are some things that you're expected to know, right? Or even if I don't teach you, there are sometimes you see me do it. That's why I'm always sharing my screen. I'm always telling you guys, oh, I'm doing this thing, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, right? But you should be able to see, oh, I'll say, oh, what is this command doing? What is it doing? And what is that command doing, right? So like Alima said, it was like, okay, what is this command doing? What is this command doing? All right, that's fine. So that's how you get to know. I might not be able to teach you, like I said, I would not teach you everything. I cannot. It's not even possible for me to teach you everything, because that was not how we were taught. Even in school, they can't teach us everything. They will only give us an abstract of what we are supposed to know, and we develop on it, we read up on it. But I'm not part of those people that read up on things. I don't know how I pass. I shall graduated. All right. So another thing is Linux command, right? So Linux command is just like the way you operate your Windows system, right? Okay, let me ask you guys, and for example now, how did you start using your Windows system? How did you start knowing that this is where to click, this is where to open, this is how to double click, and this is how to right click and check the properties of the file? It's a gradual process, right? But that is how you also know how to work with. Let me share my screen now so that we'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So this is how you know that. Don't check my email because this guy is. So that's how you'll be able to say, okay, that's how you'll be able to get familiar with the cloud, with the what's it called, with the Linux environment, right? Excuse me. So it's all about process. But one thing is, can you guys see my screen, right?
Yes, you can.
But one thing is, you can run any command in your Linux environment. You can try to know but know what that command is doing, right? Know what that command is doing. I'm trying to enlarge this thing, but it doesn't work like that. But this command, rf remove rf star, don't run it. See, you can run any command in Linux environment. But this command that you're seeing on my screen, don't run it anywhere, right? You might crash a Linux system, you might just delete everything that you have, right? And you might log yourself out and nobody will be able to SSH into that system again. Do you understand? Do you guys see what I typed on the Linux command now?
Yes, we do.
All right, good. Don't in any way run it on your Linux. Don't. Like, don't ever. You didn't say, let me type it on the chart then. Don't ever run that kind of command, right? Especially when you are even using sudo. When you add sudo, don't even try it, or you do this one, sudo remove rf star. Don't ever try this anywhere. Do you understand? Don't, like I'm saying, don't. But any other command, try to know them, try to know what it's doing, try to know what you are also, the command that you're running, right? So let me give you an example, another example of what Alim asked about, how to SSH into a Linux machine, right? So I'm going to look for a Linux machine in my cloud environment. And the reason why I have this one enabled is because this is a virtualization of an Ubuntu. This is my system. This is also my system. This is an what's it called? This is also, where is this command? Okay, all right. This is also my system, but it is running on VirtualBox. Right? This CentOS. Do you guys understand? This CentOS and this guy is Windows servers. So make sure that your system can do all these things before you before you set up all these things in your on your system. So let me look for a Linux machine that I can work with, right? So only this guy is running. This one is a Linux machine. Let me start it. Okay, let me start this guy. I don't know you. So while I'm starting that machine, let me just see how. Let me just talk about what the things that we talked about. So working with Linux motor learning, I've started already, right? So working with Linux machine is all about trying to understand what the command is saying, right? If you know what the command is saying, you know what you want to do. Like now, I want to see everything that is, I want to know where I am, right? I will just do pwd. I know where I am. That means I'm in my home directly. This is my user, right? So I'm in my home directory. Do you understand? So if I want to list all the folders or all the files that I have, I can just run this ls. It's going to list it like this. But I don't like listing stuff like this. I like to see the permission also. I can just do like this, right? So I can see all the files. I can also see the permission, the date it was created, and also the people that has permission to it, right? So these are the things that you need to check if you want to, like now, I want to go into my download directory. This is my download directory, right? This is my download directory. How do I go into? Just type cd DON. Use your tab to complete it. Download. Enter into the. I'm already inside download directory. Let us list it. So I have so many things in my download directory because I have downloaded a lot of things. Did you see? So those are the examples of how you get familiar with Linux environment. Do you understand? So, like I said, I can't be teaching you Linux command all Linux command one by one. You start with the simplest and you develop until you're able to get to a particular place where you can say, oh, you're conversant, you're familiar with Linux environment. Same thing, it's also same thing with Ubuntu, which is this, right? I'm sorry, with CentOS, which is this. The only thing is just that when you are installing something, right, it is quite different. You use apt to install something on Ubuntu while you use yum to install something on CentOS. What do I mean? Maybe I want to install, let me see if I have Nano. Okay, I have Nano. All right, so what don't I have? Do I have Docker? Docker not found. Okay, I think I tried installing it yesterday. Okay, net start. I have net start too. Let me see. Telnet, I have Telnet too. Telnet's not found. Good. So how do I install this Telnet? So this, I just do sudo. Oh, I can't use sudo because of this command thing. Look, I just use yum install. I think it's Telnet client or something. Sheyi, can you remind me? It's not there. So
you can install Ren.
Ren.
Ren, yeah.
It's not good. Okay, you need sudo permission. So there's something when I was setting this up, I did some mistakes that I did not add my user to the sudo. Now I can't even add myself to the user sudo permission. So it's just like that. But here I can install anything, right? Sudo apt. You know, the other one, CentOS, I was using yum, right? YUM. But in Ubuntu, you use apt. Do you understand? So sudo install ren. Why am I here? Install ren. Okay, it's asking for password. I don't even know which one they install. This guy they tell me something install. All right, so
not Ren.
what's that? Type it. Let me see.
Just feel like spiritual Rem.
You don't know what you install and you type out.
I thought I was trying this.
No, okay.
Remy.
Rem, like spiritual Rem. That's how the thing is. Okay, what they used to.
Telnet.
Let me what's the Rem used for?
You use Rem to connect to. Okay, sorry. We'll talk about that later.
You can just use Ctrl-C.
Ctrl-C is cancel.
You can use Ctrl-C YSD. You can use Ctrl-C to exit Telnet. All right, so that's how you just work with Linux environment and all, right? Like I said, this is a Windows Server, Windows 2016, right? This has a lot of functionality. This has a lot of things you can install on it. Like I said, the one you're seeing on the screen, that's the Active Directory. You can install IIS on it, which is already, I think it is already installed because I was trying to install something from work, direction from work there, but yeah. Let me see if it works. Okay. Okay, so I was trying to install something. Let me see if it has installed. I think it didn't get okay. So I was trying to
let them start the apt get update.
Who is having that issue? Which issue?
No, I'm just saying that you don't do apt get updates from that initial command.
Okay. All right. So basically, all right. So basically, that's just how to work with. Thank you very much. Right, that's just how to work with Linux environment and Linux environment, the Ubuntu and the CentOS. And this is the Windows Server. You can turn it to an IIS and you can turn it to an Active Directory. You can turn it into anything. You can turn it to your network controller. I think I showed you guys yesterday, right? Anything you want to turn into is inside your network controller. This is it. No. All right, so you can turn it to a DNS server. And this is a private DNS server anyway, not your cloud DNS server. So you can turn it to anything actually. So that's just it. I can't be telling you that this is what you do, what you install on it. I'll not show you one by one. No, it doesn't work that way. I can't do that, right? So even today, somebody, I think it was last week, somebody was telling me that why am I starting from the basics, right? And I said the reason why I'm starting from the basics is because I want you guys to understand the beginning, how we came from on-prem to cloud, why we came from on-prem to the cloud, why are we using, what is the advantage of cloud over on-prem, and how to use it. I want you to understand the how to work with cloud environment before you even dive into DevOps, right? So when I sent those video to you today, it was like, why am I spoon feeding you guys? And I was like, I'm just spoon feeding you. That I said that is not the way I taught him, and like I said, no, I just wanted to start from the beginning because I think I get most of you, especially those that reach out to me directly, that they wanted to learn these things because I know that you guys do not understand this thing. That was why I'm starting from the scratch, right? And I want you guys to understand the basics, right? But then I can't do the basics. I can't teach you all of the basics, right? But you need to read up. Like I always say, read up. I can't teach you everything, right? So that's why I just showed you guys about the command line, the Linux environment, how to work with it, and also SSH. I think this guy has started. So let me see let me see the user. That's if I still remember the password. Okay, I remember the password. Anytime I use this username, it has one password. All right. So Ali, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay. All right. So this is number one is for any server you want to connect to, right? You know, if you want to connect to Linux, you need to that means your system has to have, that means your Linux server has to have port 22 open, right? So if you don't have port 22 open, you cannot. I'm saying this because of AWS environment, right? Because if you like now, look at this guy. It is already opened when I opened it when I was creating the server, right? But in AWS, it does not open by itself. You need to go and open it. This thing, it gave me a lot of headache for almost 3 days. I was like, I created this server, and why can't I connect to it? Not knowing that I need to come and open the port myself, right? So you need to make sure that port 22 is open. Let me explain this one too. If you want to install or deploy an application on it, right? If it's just for testing, you need to make sure port 80 is working, right? If you deploy an application and you try to reach the application from the internet and you are getting cannot be reached, go and check if port 80 is open. If port 80 is not open, anything you deploy on that server would not be reached, right? HTTPS, that means you want to make your site secure. So you need to open port 443, right? Now, you know that this guy, I'm using RDP to enter into this Linux environment. That's why you can see it as the same way you're seeing a Windows system, right? So the way I'm able to log into it is because port 3389 is opened. That's RDP port. But if 3389 is not open, you can't, right? And I just needed to clear that out. So how do you connect to this server, right? So how to connect to any Linux server, you just do SSH, then you type the username. Oh, I think I can't paste here. What's the IP? 52.146. That's 52.146. 36.109. 36.109, right? So the reason why you have this guy, a user there is because you need to input a password. So if I do like this, SSH web on the dev at the IP of the server, it's going to tell me because this is the first time I'm connecting on this system. It's going to tell me, do you want to save this thing? You say yes, right? And it's going to ask you for password. Then you input your password to it. right? I hope this is there. So voila, you're already in the system. Currently, any command that you run now, is not this server that I'm opening. No, it's not this one that is here. It's not this one that you are seeing, right? It is this server here. It is this web DevOps server here, right? Do you understand? So let me see this IP. Let me even try to check if I have installed something on it. Okay, so I have installed something on it. I guess yes, I've installed something on it. So look at that. Let me see all the applications that I've installed on it, right? List.
Sorry, I have a question.
Shoot now.
Can I?
Yes.
Yeah, from what you just did now, meaning you need a virtual machine, like let's say a private virtual box, having Ubuntu or CentOS installed on it, if you actually want to access your virtual cloud machine. Is that it?
No. Okay, now I'm outside this guy, right? I'm outside this virtual box now, right? This is my Windows environment. Look at it. This is my Windows environment, right? You just need a command line. You can just come and type CMD, right? Then do SSH, paste that guy there. Web underscore dev, right? At. Do you understand? Then type enter. So you can do it anywhere. It's just like I was explaining that I can open down my system anywhere, right? So you ask for password. Type of visual.
But that system has to be on internet, right?
Which one? That system, any system you want to connect to it's just like you connected to a public IP. You have to have an internet.
Okay.
You see that I'm already inside the server,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Look at it. I'm logged in here, and I'm also logged in here.
Okay.
So it's the same thing. So that's just how to log in into Linux server, right? And what else did we talk about? Okay, so now we've not talked about we just okay. We have a lot of people that how do you use the GUI of our Ubuntu installed for Microsoft? You can't do. You can't do because it's just you're mimicking your Windows system. Do you understand? Right? While you're responding to you're mimicking your Windows system to act you're creating a virtualization of your Windows system to a what's it called? To a Ubuntu server, right? You get so if you do that, you cannot what's it called? You cannot get the GUI. Do you understand? You can't. All right, so what else? What else? Okay, yes, the cloud environment. No, not this guy. That my other system is acting up. Okay. So this was what I explained. Check why this recurring is not working. Good. I don't expect. Sheyi, you have work to do today. Is Chris on
You
this
said
call?
what?
Is Chris on this call?
Yes,
Chris.
I'm here. I'm here.
No, okay, all right. So please, Chris, before I go to what I have for you, do you have any question about what I've talked about so far?
Yes, I actually have a question and my hand is up. So
Okay.
I joined a bit late, so I don't know whether you've shown this or somebody has asked a question around this. So my question is I know today if I want to log into Windows Server, I can do that on my local box or my laptop through remote desktop. So
If you want to
does
what?
this, if I'm logging into my Windows Server, right?
Okay.
I can do that through remote desktop on my laptop.
Yes.
So
Yes.
does this apply to Linux Server?
Yes, it applies to Linux server that or has GUI configured. No, it's not all a Linux server that has GUI configured.
Okay.
Right? Do you okay? Let me show you. I don't know, maybe I've done this for this guy. Okay, so I think it's going to take us a long way, but it's good that we learn it, right? So look at this guy now. Look at, you're seeing SSH, right? You're seeing RDP, you're seeing Bastion, right? SSH is what I did here, is what I did here. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So RDP is what the RDP is what you're talking about, and what YSD is also asking, right? So if I click on this RDP rather, I said RSD, RDP rather, let's try if it will work, right? Let me open remote desktop. Please don't ask me how I did that, I beg.
This guy.
But if you don't work in on-prem environments where that thing you go sabi.
You go sabi.
So, so you see that it's not going, right?
Yeah.
Did you see that it is not going? All right. So because GUI is not automatically configured for it. Do you understand? Now, you now see this guy here. He say install and configure remote desktop on your Linux VM. Do you get? So we just need to click on it. It takes a while. It takes like 10 minutes. Probably I'll be using that to install, explain what I want to explain, or you ask another question why we install it. So I don't want to go through all this thing. Let me just start. Let me just start with this one. Let me start it here. Okay, no command this one. Why can't I paste? So this one is just the short command here. So let me install, this one is the long command. It's going to take a while.
Sorry, Ola, it's like you are doing magic here. I don't understand anything you are doing here.
Is that I have heard this voice before. Who is that?
This is Sheyi. This is Sheyi.
Okay. I know this person. All right, so okay, I'm doing magic, right? From where?
Okay, so you're trying to paste on Ubuntu, and then now you are pasting on I see your Windows environment. I don't understand.
No. I've already logged into that server now. You know, I showed you the other time here now. That way I logged into the server here. You get?
Oh,
so I'm
okay,
already logged in. So that was why.
You use CMD to log in for your SSH.
No,
sorry.
CMD is the command, is the shell that I'm using, but it is SSH that I use to log into Linux command. Do you get?
To be honest, the only thing I know about is PuTTY, so that's why I'm surprised. Sorry,
Okay, PuTTY. PuTTY is using SSH.
Thank you very much.
It's just
So I'm going to put it too.
You can use PuTTY too, please.
Okay, you can use PuTTY.
Like,
I use Git bash.
Also,
thank you for the magic, Ola. Thank you.
Magic bar. Okay, why this one is installed is going to take a while, right? It's going to take a while. So let Chris, please ask another question. Why we go on? Hello, Chris. The sleep where I go sleep this night with this act. Oh, this one. Chris has left. He's back now.
Maybe he has gone to Balinde, we can't tell.
No, I'm here. I really don't have another question for now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right.
Okay,
So were you
sorry,
on the
please.
call
Can I ask this
yesterday?
question?
Shoot,
Yes, I
please.
was. Do
Okay,
not.
all right.
Okay,
That's
so what I'm asking is now we can see you running some commands on CMD.
It's not CMD. It's inside a Linux server. That Linux server that I
Yeah,
logged
yes, I
into.
know. But this
Okay.
this thing that is showing on your screen now is this command CMD from Microsoft operating system. Okay, so what I'm saying is, why do we have to have all this Linux CMD? Can't we just? Is it possible that we just focus on? Is it possible that we just use one? Like, if you want to use Linux and do whatever you want to do. If you want to use this CMD, is there any difference? Do we really have to work on different interface, like working on CMD, the Linux you showed us, and the CentOS? So what's the difference?
All right. So for every Windows system has Tuxedo. Okay, Windows system default shell script is CMD. Do you understand?
Yeah, I do. I understand. Yes.
You understand that one, Abi?
Yes, I do.
All right, good. So Linux default shell command is the terminal, right? macOS CM command is also the terminal because macOS is also a
Linux.
distro of Linux, right? Yes. So, but one thing is, there are some command you will run in CM Linux that you can't run it in what's it called?
CMD.
You can't run it in CMD. Let me tell. So right now, when I wanted to list something, I did ls, right?
Yes.
This is even the simplest one, right? I did ls, right? Now come here, do ls. You see? It's not recognized.
Yes.
See, all the people that has worked with me, they are here. They know that I don't use CMD. Sheyi, what do I use?
Use
Sheyi,
Git bash.
Git bash.
No, yeah,
Git bash is a clone of. If I get a new system, this is the first thing I'm installing because I don't like CMD. So Git bash is just a replica of CMD, and there are some things you can run in a replica of Linux, right? There's some things you can run in Linux, and you can run it here. Like ls, look at ls, it's going to work, but I'm still on Windows. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
I can use grep here. I can use grep here, but I can't use grep on Windows. Like even on what is it called? PowerShell, I can't. Do you get
PowerShell will not even run limited.
I can't use grep. You see, it is not a recognized internal or external command. Do you understand? So it depends on when you get familiar with Linux, you will abandon CMD. I'm telling you. I don't even know how to work with CMD, but the only thing that I know in CMD is dir. I have closed that command. Okay, no, it's dir directory. Instead of list, instead of ls, you use dir. That's the only thing I know in command line, in CMD rather. So, okay, this guy has installed. Let me run the third one.
Okay, while this is installing, there was a time you told us to install Ubuntu from the Windows application store, from the Windows store. So we can also use that for to run our commands.
Yes, no.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so it's all about when you get familiar with it, you see that when you are in your Linux environment, when you are in a Windows environment, you want to replicate that Linux environment. You will not use CMD again, right? You want to use Git bash. right? So that's why I use Git badge. Everyone that works with me knows that I use Git badge. If you want to tell me something or you want to show me something on your screen and you're using command line, I won't even answer you. They know me. I won't even, because I will be like, can you run the script here? Will it even work? You get? So this one is the reason why I'm doing all this thing. Okay, the reason why I'm doing all this thing is because it's a documentation and I don't want to start going through documentation for you, right? I'm just installing everything.
Okay, sorry. CMD, is it the same thing with CLI?
Yes, now.
Okay.
But CLI position. Who is asking?
Ghost power.
Okay. Yes, CLI is the CLI. You can call different things CLI. If they tell you, okay, go and run this script on the CLI, then you already know that you are working in Linux environment. You need to go and run it. But if you're working with me now, right? And I give you a script and I tell you, go and run this script on the CLI. Or I give Sheyi. Sheyi knows that he cannot run it on a CMD. He knows it will not work. Right, but if somebody that maybe me and the person have been working in Windows environment, and I say go and run it on the CLI, he knows that the first thing he will go and do is open command line. Do you get? So it depends on the person you're working with. It just depends on the person you're working with. All right, now. So I've installed all these things that Microsoft said we should install, right? So let us connect to it again. Chris, are you here?
Yes, please. I'm here.
All right. Did you see that it's not connecting? It's still not connecting, right? Even though all the things that Microsoft said we should install, we have installed it, right? So the reason why is because if you come to networking here, right? I've not opened 3389, right? So I just need to come here, networking, inbound rule, from where any source, right? Service port star, destination port 3389. Protocol, any protocol, allow. Then you do you have 380? No 380. Allow 3389 inbound rule. Yes. So let me see the error. You see that it's still the same error, right? So now, they've done restart server. What are you doing on the server? Why did they restart server? All right, you see that this inbound.
Over the weekend.
Okay. This, you see that this says the security rule has been created, right? Let me try to connect to it. Hope I didn't restart the server. What happened? You see that it's connecting this time around, right?
Yeah.
Not the certificate name, blah, blah, blah. Yes. Why is it not asking me for username and password? Okay, yeah, this is it. This is where you put your username and password, right?
Okay.
Put your username and password. Welcome to the first, use default config. Tell it to use the default config anyway. So once it's used it, so you guys, you see, this server that I'm already working on right now, I'm now using the GUI here. Do you get? I use the default config. All right. Also, another thing you need to make, if you notice that your server is dragging, right? Go and check the configuration. See now, 1 VPC, 1 GB. It might not really. It will be very, very slow. So you just need to come to size, scale it up to a very higher one. So this one will just be dragging like you don't have anything on your system, right? That's why it is dragging like this. But once it's logging, you will see something like this guy. You see something like this guy here. Once you log in, you see something like this. You even see this Wakanda Forever stuff, right? Inside. So this is it. Because the compute power is very small, that's why it's dragging. If I want to increase it now, look at it, $7 monthly. So that's why it's like that. If I need to increase it to this guy, it's going to be more faster. But I don't want to. It needs to be shut down this night. So let me see if there's auto shutdown. Maybe I'm going to sleep this morning. All right. So any question around Linux servers? Okay, it's great. There's auto shutdown. So that's fine. So any questions around what I've been able to talk about? Do you guys understand? Please.
Yes, I have a follow-up question on what you just did.
Okay, please go ahead.
I saw that before you were able to connect successfully to the server, you turned on a port. So my question now is, yes. So my question now is, how do you know you are supposed to turn on that port?
Oh, okay. It's just by default now. You know, if you want to connect to a service, you know, port 80 is that means you want to run HTTP now. Do you understand? So that, okay, now, if you are sending email, right? If you are sending email, you created you deploy an application, you are sending email and the email is not going. You need to go and check email port. Maybe it is opened, right? So these are the things you need to check. There are many ports that we need to know, right? I can't just be saying mentioning ports right now. Like 80 is compulsory, 3389 is compulsory, 22 is compulsory, and the likes. They are all compulsory for us now. 53 is there, which is DNS. 993 is there, which is SMTP. Do you understand? Those are ports that you just need to know yourself. Do you get? I know that RGP is 3389. That's why I know that that's the port I need to open. And also it is written here. It is written here, you see? Port 3389.
Okay, yeah, I get that. All right, thank you.
All right, so any questions so far, please? Sorry, if you are raising up your hand, please talk, or I may not be able to see it. All right, so let's go to the second part of. Right, so let's go to the second part of second part. Oh, okay. All right, so let's go to the first part of yesterday, which is the second part of today. I don't want to dwell much on it. Can you guys see my screen? So, because of Omonto learning, he was the only one that asked questions, so I'll just go by it. All right, thank you, Jare. All right, so let's see. Yesterday to today is $5 was removed. All right, so this, like yesterday I was saying, this is just an overview of your subscription. You know, I was explaining this. Oh shit, the picture is not here. Picture is not here. All right, I was explaining that anytime you want to deploy anything, it always asks you to pick the subscription and the resource group you need. So subscription is where your money is being deducted, where you set the key security. I was explaining yesterday that one of the main thing about cloud environment, all cloud providers, is that your security is your responsibility. Your company security is a responsibility. Some of us already know, right? When you first join a company, they will give you minimum security, especially if it's a cloud provider, right? Especially if you're also a developer, right? I know some developers that they're only given access to dev environment, not pre-prod or sandbox environment or production environment. They don't get access to those environments, only dev environment. This is also as a measure to security. Do you get? So, all right. So these are the measure to security, and where you set your security, the first level of security is your management group. So it's another resources that does that. We call it blueprints or thereabout. You have not really checked the name. Blueprint. You set the policy from the management group. But here we're only focusing on subscriptions, where you can set your permission. If there's another, just off the phone, please. Yes, please. All right, so you just set the security from the subscription level, right? So I'm going to show you other things. So, yesterday I talked about setting security from the subscription level, right? But you can set security from a resource group level too, right? Like now, okay, let me first explain this guy. So now, Omotolani, what we talked about was people that are not here yesterday. What we talked about is if you want to check anybody that is making any changes to your environment, this is the person that will route you out, right? I added 3389 to a virtual machine now. So it has already been here. It's already showed that 9 minutes ago I did that, right? So this is the person that shows you, that gives you an audit of your cloud environment, right? Do you understand? So everything that you need to do here, if there's anything in your environment that failed, it's going to show it here too. That means verify IP flow. This one too failed. I think I was the one that initiated it. Okay, so I started the virtual machine. So these are the examples of which you can initiate or enable audit, right? If you have external audit or internal audit, these are the things they will be coming to look for. If there's a breach, well, you understand what I mean? In your company, now this is the first level of first thing they will come and search. Who is making that? They can search it through 3 months space. All cloud provider provide that functionality. For 90 days, they'll help you keep that audit. After 90 days, it's gone. So definitely, you know how to save your logs. So now you just check and see who are those people that make changes, at what time, at what date, what did they do exactly. You can check it through the event log here. Access control, this is where you give people access, right? I think Bemi sent his email yesterday. Bemi, can you send your email today again so that I think it should be here. Okay, Bemi, I've seen your email. Okay. So I'll use Bemi as an example, right? So if you want to give somebody access, right, you can just come here, access, role assignment, right? So at this point, you see the different kind of roles you can assign to people, right? You can assign them owner role. You can assign them contributor, reader role. This one are the general. While you can assign them individual roles based on the resources they are supposed to manage. If BEM is a network engineer, right, it does not need anything to do with app service, virtual machine. Do you understand? It has something to do with virtual machine anyway, because virtual machine is using network. And they might want to do a network flow or network trace at some point, right? You can give him access in general, either a contributor or a reader. But if there's a maybe has a junior network engineer that only makes sure that only is responsible for the networking part of the cloud, you can just look for network here, network access, right? Look, we have different network contributor and assign it to the person. We have virtual machine also contributor and assign it to the person based on what they want. We have SQL contributor. If the person is just managing your domain, we have domain services contributor. Do you understand? You just need to give them what that is required of them, right? And because of Bemi, it is Bemi. I'm going to give him contributor, which is generous. That means they can grant manage all resources, but they do not allow to assign RBAC. All right. So RBAC is also what I'm currently doing. So if I give Bemi contributor role, it cannot add people. Only people that has owner rights that can add people. Do you understand? But it can do every other thing that I'm doing, right? So I just need to select member, paste his email because he's not there before. They will send him an invite, and voila. So
Voila.
the first, you said what?
You said voila. That's what I'm just trying.
I did not say voila. I said voila. You don't watch film. Oh, you don't know. All right, so here you can check all the people that you have given assignments, you have given roles. Where is TY? TY is not here. Where is Jami? Jami is not here. Sheyitu is not here. Where are you guys? Okay, so 3 users, self-service principal, and so on. Oh, sorry. Okay, I was trying looking like where are these guys now? Where are these guys? Okay, I don't give people access to this environment. Sorry, that was the reason why I was mixing it up. So this is the environment that I give access to. The second one, if you check, I am now role assignments. You see all of them, right? You see Jamil, you see Tony, you see Sheyi, you see Foley, you see Babati. You see Peter too is here. I think this is Peter. Peter, have you deployed any resources recently? All right, so these are the kind of things, I was on another subscription. This is another, you see, this is Visual Studio Enterprise, right? And this is Visual Studio Enterprise subscription. It's a different subscription entirely. So, and these people that are here cannot manage resources that are here, that are in this Visual Studio Enterprise. No, because it's a different entity. They can't even see itself, right? If you tell them to log in now, most of them cannot see it. I'm coming that way. I think my system has hung. All right, so most of them cannot see it. All right, so this is where you add as users and the likes. This is also tags. This is diagnosis and solve. If you have any problem in your environment or any resources, you can come to that. Each resources has diagnosis and solve. Like I said, if you create a virtual machine, you'll see diagnosis and solve. If you create with anything, you have diagnosis. And these are just cost analysis where you check your cost. One of the things I talked about also yesterday was about minimizing cost. It is very important. I've worked in an environment where the first thing I came to do when I joined that company as a contractor, I think was a senior DevOps engineer, senior DevOps consultant, right? I joined the company. And the first thing that they told me to do was to reduce their cost. They were spending 3,008 to 3,008 a month, and they are still in development phase. Do you get? And that is crazy. You've not started making money and you're spending 3,008. And they've already spent about 6 months even before I joined them. So that's just, it's not helping the company. Something that you've not deployed to production and you guys are not making money, you're already spending 30,000. That's almost 4 times 6. That's almost like $24,000 in 6 months, right? So it's just crazy, and it's like that. So this is where you said the cost analysis. You see the cost analysis, they'll drill down to why is it staying long to load. So drill down to what is consuming the resources, right? And what is consuming the resources. And you also be able to scale down respectfully. This here use cost alert, right? This cost alert helps you to set a budget. Maybe because all cloud environment is pay as you go, you just set a cost alert and say, hey, if I'm spending up to $600 in a month, please alert me. Oh. So every month it changes, start measuring that budget. Every month is start measuring that budget, or you can just say, oh, at any point that I make sure that I spend up to $600, alert me and let me know, right? So that's how it is. This billing is just invoice where you put your credit card and payment method. Those ones you don't need. And resources, these are all the resources in this subscription and resource group also. Uses and quota. Maybe you're trying to you provision a virtual machine, you provision 5 virtual machine in Central India, right? And you want to provision the 6th one in Central India. You get a message that, oh, you cannot provision something, blah, 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 blah. That means you need to come to usage and quota to request for what you need for them to help you increase. While probably that data center does not have much, then you tell them, oh, come help me increase it, add more servers. They will help you add it as far as you're paying for it. So it's just their gain, right? So we have policy also. This is where you set a subscription wide policy, right? You tell them that, okay, if you can create a policy and say every deployment that will happen in this subscription must be deployed to West Europe. Anybody that wants to deploy to any region apart from West Europe is going to give you an error. That means you won't be able to deploy, right? Or if anybody wants to deploy anything in this subscription, they must add tag. That means that if you want to deploy something and you did not put tag or anything at all in the tag section, it will not deploy. So those are just what policy is all about. It's varies through different kind of thing that you want to set. It's varies. So it's a lot of things. So here, and these are just something you don't need to bother about now. Resource provider, I think you need it. Maybe you want to deploy something. I see you don't have access to that thing. You need to come here and register for it, right? If you don't already register for it. So all this one I've registered for it. So I can, okay, this is it, Microsoft Blueprint, right? This is what they use to set permission from the management group. It's very rare, but people use it, but mostly US company, not Nigerian companies. All right, not Nigerian companies. So these are service bus, search, events, and logic, maintenance, and the likes. But if you want, I know I didn't register for AI thereabout. So I can come here, register for it, then I'll be able to deploy anything that has to do with AI, machine learning, and AI. Do you get? So those are the things that we talked about. And if you don't want people to have.
Sorry, Ola. Sorry to interrupt you. Are you able to go back to the other page, that last page?
Which one? Which one is that?
The last page where you're showing the resources.
Okay.
So my question to that is, these resources, are they there by default? Did they come with the subscription? Or
Which one?
you have all of these resources that you have here, resources providers, are they default resources, or you have to install them whenever you need them?
No. Once you set up a subscription, virtually half of them come by default.
And if you need extra, you can add more, right?
You can come and register for it.
Is the registration going to cost much, cost funds, or just...
No. It's not going to cost anything. Just register for it. Until you create that resources, that's when they will start billing you on it.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. If I do not register for AI and machine learning now, I think I register for machine learning. This is it. So if I did not, okay, like now, Dell storage, I don't need Dell's or Dynatrace observability, right? And I register for it now. I just registered for it, right? But it won't do anything until I go back to the resources and create anything that is on Dynatrace. That's when you start taking billings and the likes. Do you get? So I think the last thing I want to talk about is, even if you don't want people to have access to your subscription so that they won't be doing anyhow, I just say somebody like Sheyi now, I can just come here and say, it's not even Sheyi, let's say Omotolani, because it is Omotolani, I want to say, Omotolani should have access to only this guy, only this resource group, right? You can come here, add role assignments, and the like. So he's going to have assignments to this resource group, right? Or anybody, the first person to drop their email. Nobody is dropping email. All right. So the first anybody you add to this place, because it is resource group based, right? That person will have access to resource group, but not the person won't be able to see everything here. You'll just be seeing only one resource group, DevOps BootCamp. That's all. You won't be able to see any other thing, right? And it's only anything that is deployed inside this DevOps BootCamp you'll be able to see. Do you get? So you can do it like that. You can say, oh, I don't want him to have the access to this resource group. I only want him to have access to this virtual machine. So you just come here, add your resource, add the user here. So the person would not have access to anything except this virtual machine. Do you get? So you can let that person have access to the resource, the subscription, the resource group, or the resources itself, right? If you give the person access in your subscription, that person will be able to see everything. If you give the person access to resource group, that person will only be able to see anything that is in that resource group, right? If you give the person access to only the virtual machine or the app service or anything, or the virtual network, that person will only be able to access that virtual network, app service, or the virtual machine. So that is all for today. Does anybody have questions? Oh my God.
Yes, I do.
All right, please ask your question.
During when you were showing us in the role assignments but I saw containers. So and I was like, okay, I've seen across containers before, but it has not been discussed at all. So I was going to ask, what about containers, and when are they going to start going to be useful for deployments and all?
All right, so like I said, you need to understand how the cloud environment works before we start going in. You need to understand infrastructure first before you start going into deployment and development, right? If I come here and say, okay, we want to start working with, we want to start with DevOps, right? And I did start with cloud environment. I'll show you guys how to deploy. How to deploy is easy, I swear down. How to deploy, that's the easiest thing. How to troubleshoot, it depends on how well you can use Google, right? But do you know where do you understand where you're deploying to? Can you troubleshoot the application itself? Can you work with the cloud environment? So that is the reason why I'm starting from the basics, like I said earlier. Do you get?
Yes, sir.
Any other question, please?
Hello, Ola. So I understand about the Active Directory, adding the users to the resource group, to the resources, and to subscription. So if you want to go for the global admin level, so do you have to go through O365, or is there any way to do it via Azure portal? Or because I know the only way I know is via the if your organization configures privilege. I forgot it. I just know it as PIM. So is there any way to do it via the Azure portal or just O365? I have a
Okay.
little knowledge of O365.
Okay, so the thing is, if I can give you access to the Active Directory, right? If I add you as a user now, maybe I want to, I don't know what's wrong with my network. Why is this thing taking long to load? So if I come here and I add you as a user, right? That doesn't give you access to this subscription. Do you get? But if I add you as a user on the subscription, it's going to add you as a user on the Active Directory. Do you understand?
Yes.
So if you see, I think the one I did for, you see now, See, he said he has sent this guy to Gbemi as a default guest in this directory, which is the Active Directory, right? And he has also added the person as a contributor to Visual Studio. Do you get? And this is him here. Did you see that he has already added him as a direct? So I can just say, okay, because these are new guys, and I can just say, okay, enable multi-factor authentication for them. It has done that already. So anytime they've not accepted it, I guess. Okay, invitation created, yes. So they've not accepted the invitation. I don't think so. All right, so you can just enable multi-factor authentication for them. That's just all, right? And the user is already created. So any other questions, please?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
I'm not attended to say this and that. Oh, yes, good evening, yeah.
I don't even know how to answer this question. It's not really related to things that we did today. I have an Azure subscription and I deployed virtual machines and resources on it. But after the whole thing, I left it dormant there. Is it that they will still keep running and then nothing happened? Like nothing is going to happen to the subscription. Like the cost, nothing is going to keep increasing. It's just going to be there. Or do I just stop running them?
By the special grace of God, the cost is going to keep increasing, right? It's going to keep increasing because you created a DIX, you created a virtual network. And how do we get an Azure subscription? Don't worry, I'm going to show you guys how, right? So you created a DIX, you created a virtual network, and it's up and running, right? It's going to be consuming your credit. Do you understand?
All right, sir.
Still looking today. All right.
Okay,
Any
sorry
other
to ask
question?
a question. In a case where you have okay, like she said, you had set up your subscription, you have your resources, your networking, and all the rest of them, and peradventure you run out of money on your account. What happens? Are they going to suspend the subscription, or is it just going to be charging you? Then when you load in money, they deduct it or something. How does it work?
My dear brother, is going to put all your resources in a read-only mode, and the resources is the resources is going to keep charging. I explained this yesterday too, right? It will keep accumulating. The day you pay, they are going to remove all their money.
Huh. Okay.
But sir, you said
Ola, okay. Hello.
Please go ahead.
So for something like a virtual machine, so maybe you assign them $150, and
Okay.
you exhaust the $150, so you won't be able to log in. Your account will be suspended, and you won't be able to log in into the virtual machine. But for my understanding, the only thing that they will only keep is your storage and your networking and all, and that will probably keep compounding the charges. But for the VMs and maybe app service and maybe complete services, you won't be able to have access to all those kind of resources.
Yes, that's what I was saying now, that it's going to be on a read-only mode. All your resources is going to be on a read-only mode. Even that your digs, right? Maybe you want to create a snapshot and download it so that you'll be able to use it later. You won't be able to create it. You get?
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
These digs that I said they will still keep, you need to be able to create a snapshot from it, resize it, and the likes. You won't be able to do all those operations too, right? You won't be able to create a snapshot and download it on your system so that anytime you now come or remember or use another email to open a new subscription, you just upload your digs, then start working. No, they won't allow you to do any management operation, right? That's why I said the money keeps increasing But your virtual, if your money finishes, your virtual network, your virtual machine will stop, right? It's going to be on a stop mode, right? That means you will need to start it again when the money comes, right? But your digs, you won't be able to access anything. Everything will be on read-only mode.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So you can't even
Sorry,
stop
sir.
like.
So are you saying we should?
Please ask your question. Okay, Favor, go ahead.
Okay, so sir, sorry. Are you saying that we should stop running all virtual machines and resources until we are ready to use them?
Okay, for one, I would say the money for your digs is still going to be counting, right? The only thing is you can do is create an auto shutdown for your virtual machine. That for that one, at least it will help you reduce money at some point. And anytime you want to use your virtual machine, you can start it up again, right? Do you get? So that's just it. If it has to do with virtual machine, no. But if it has to do with any other thing like app service, just leave it as it is.
Auto shutdown, sir. I have no idea what that is.
Okay, let me show you also auto shutdown. This is it. Can you see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
This is any virtual machine has auto shutdown. So this is you come here, you see these operations, right? This is like operation. You see the next thing is auto shutdown. Configure auto shutdown. I don't know my name talking about.
Ọwọ́ ayé ti bá.
What them saying is just annoying on the next thing. What's wrong with this?
Same here. Like those guys, maybe they went for a meeting and they said they should reduce the bandwidth again. And
It's
don't
Buhari that caused it. Buhari.
Ah,
Right. So Favor, this is auto
like
shutdown, sha.
everybody, man.
Favor, this is auto shutdown. I just
So I
enable
can't
it.
see anything, no.
You can't see anything.
Your whole screen is blank.
My screen is blank.
Yes.
I think it's you guys' network because I can still see.
I think it's
can
from you people. The screen is not blank. Oh. Who is using Glow yet?
Oh my dear,
I don't
outside.
know.
Network is here.
All right, so it's still there, Sha. If you anytime you see it. So all right, so this is auto shutdown. And, anytime you see it, Sha. So that's auto shutdown, and you can just put the time on the virtual machine blade, right? Just scroll down through the blade, right? You will see auto shutdown in operation settings, right? You will see auto shutdown. You will see that. Then configure the time you want it to shut down. That's just it. What's long? Favor, can you hear me? Hello, Favor.
Yes, yes.
All right. So what I'm saying is on the virtual machine blade, right? You know, I explained the blade to you yesterday, right? Just go to the operation part of it. You see shut down, right? Just click on it and set the time you want it to only shut down for you.
Sorry, on the what, sir?
Virtual machine blade. You know, I explained the blade yesterday. Can you see my screen?
I know, I still can't see anything.
Don't worry. I know it's Glow that you're using or Airtel. Sorry. Yeah. All right, don't worry. I'll screenshot it for you on your WhatsApp. All right. So, any other question, guys, before we call it a day?
Yes, I have a question on the chat box. You can check in there.
Okay, let me see. In the bid to manage cost, is it advised to trade off performance? See, let me tell you something, right? This is one of the things, Chris, we might talk about it better tomorrow morning, right? We still need to have a discussion on that recurring payment. So I will talk about this, right? So that you'll be able to have an understanding about, we'll use our own environment. I will use it to explain so that you'll be able to explain. You'll be able to understand very well. But I'll still explain it here, right? So it is saying in the bid to reduce cost, can we trade off performance, right? With cost, with pricing or cost, right? This is a very tricky question. I think Goke, is Goke here? Goke.
He has gone to border, yes.
Ah, I think it's the better position to. I can explain it also, right? So Goke is here now. He has unmuted his mic. All right. So he's asking a question, right? In a bid to reduce cost, right? Goke, go to meet Mike Ekpadao. Sorry, you are still recording. Okay. All right. So in the bid to reduce costs, can we trade off performance, right? So you remember that project you were working on then, that they wanted to reduce costs, but at the same time, they knew that those virtual machines were high-performing virtual machines and they needed it. You know, it was a big problem for them because they couldn't decide. Okay, two is using Globe. Hello, Goke, did you hear me?
Goke ní network púpọ̀ nílé náà.
Hello? Yeah, I record.
Hello?
I record. I can hear you now.
All right, good. So you recall that they needed to do either they needed to choose performance or reduce cost, right? And it was a big decision for them because they how will I say itself? They wanted to reduce cost, sharp, right? They wanted to reduce cost, but how will they reduce? Okay, how will they reduce costs and also manage performance too? And manage performance too. So it's a lot of big question. It will have to go through the management, right? Infrastructure guys cannot decide on that. Because if they reduce cost and it affects performance, it comes down on the infrastructure people. It boils down to performance of the application. And if it's a banking application, right, we will still be the one that will bear the cost, right? We will lose customer. So why in the bid of losing customer, why not just leave the cost? Go and reduce in some other aspect. In production environments, you might not want to reduce. Go to sandbox or the dev environment and reduce your cost. But production, why not leave it there? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So do you get what I'm trying to explain now, Chris?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you very much. So any other question before we call it a day?
Sir, please, I can see the screen now. Please, can I see the auto shutdown button?
All right, this is it. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, I can see the screen, sir.
This is auto shutdown, right? This is auto shutdown. This is a virtual machine, and this is auto shutdown. And this is where it sets. You put, when you want to set it for the first time, it will ask you for your email. So it's going to send you an email 1 hour before it shut down that this guy is going to shut down in the next 30 minutes or in the next 1 hour. And it's going to send you an email. Do you get? You are not paying for the email. Though. So before another person asks that question. So any other question?
Thanks, sir.
All right, so in the absence of any questions, I think we need to call it a day. Thank you very much, guys. See you next week.
All right, thank you, sir. Take care.
Ola, thank you. Thank you, Ola Goke.
All right, thank you, Gokyo.